Hi there, I'm Mike Cheney from DDI Software, and in this video I'll be showing you our product Qimage Ultimate and how it relates to your shooting photos from your Phantom. Now I have a Phantom 3 Professional, and being the author of this software, it was only natural for me to add some features to the software that would help out with photo shooting. So here we see some photos that I shot in JPEG Plus RAW mode with the Phantom 3 Professional camera, and I'm just going to show you some of the features in the software that might help you out. We're now an approved vendor on Phantom pilots, and I thought that our software would be useful to many of you, so that's the primary purpose of this video. Now, Qimage Ultimate is primarily a photo printing software package, and many people from amateurs to professional photographers use this software to print their photos because it makes it very easy to print your photos and optimize the quality and sharpening automatically without a lot of fuss. And it's really impossible to go into all of the features of Qimage Ultimate because it's been developed over almost 2 decades now, so it has a lot of stuff in it, so I'll just leave it at that. I'll show you some of the primary things. It's very easy to do things like select a couple 5x7s and print a couple 5x7s on the page. Once they're on the page, you can change the size, go to a different size, rotate, do things like that. The software is fully color managed, both monitor and printer, so it will use the ICC profile for your monitor. You can use one for your printer, and you'll get excellent color and resolution. The software does resample to the printer's PPI, or resolution, which is listed up here. For an Epson, it's typically 720. So all of that stuff is done for you. You don't really have to worry about it once you set it up. But I wanted to show you some of the Phantom specific features that are in the software. One is that it can develop and read raw DNG files just like any other file format, so there's no conversion or anything needed. You can see the JPEG and its companion RAW here on these 2 shots. And we have a color ICC profile that was shot with IT8 and color checker SG targets, and the profile was made to make the most accurate color possible for these RAWs. And it also does automatic lens distortion correction. So if I press the space bar over this thumbnail right here and bring up this RAW photo, you can see that the horizon is perfectly flat. That's because we've built in our own lens correction, and that works for the Phantom 3 Advanced and Professional. And the color profiles are also applicable to those 2 models. The standard has a slightly different camera, so it will work, but you may get some distortion in the photos on the RAW shots. Now let me go into one of these RAWs here, and if I just place my thumbnail over this, place my mouse over this thumbnail and go down here and click on Image Info, you can come over here and see some of the image information, like the shutter speed. The F number is always going to be 2.8, but it also has GPS coordinates. Now if I click on the little Earth icon here, it will bring those GPS coordinates up in a Google map in your browser, and it will put a pin on the map where that image was shot, right here. Now if the pin goes away like it does here, that appears to be a problem with the Google Map API here. It will come back eventually, but to get it to refresh, you can move your mouse up here and like click on a new tab and then click back, and then the pin will reappear. That I've looked into that, and that really doesn't have anything to do with my software. It's just a refresh on the page. But you can see here it drops the pin right where the photo was taken, and that should be useful to quickly see where the shot was taken. Now coming back here, you'll notice now that the information is up over here, you can roll your mouse over these thumbnails and it will automatically update the information based on where your mouse pointer is. So if you wanted to come to an image like this and lock it in so that the other ones don't interfere, just click on it and it'll give you some time to move over here without changing off of that photo. Now for that photo, we can click the Google Earth icon. It'll bring it up in the browser and it'll give you a pin for that location, which is right up here. So that's a quick way that you can look at the GPS coordinates of your photos. Now you might notice that these images look different. The JPEG looks different from the RAW. The reason is because Qimage Ultimate is doing some automatic processing on here to make that image look as good as possible right up front. So if we select both of these with the control key and then go to the best shot selector, we can bring these up side by side, and I'll show you some things here. This is the good thing about shooting RAW. The RAW has a lot more dynamic range and allows you to pull a lot more detail out. First thing we see is that Qimage Ultimate automatically brightened this up a bit, made it look like a sunny day, which it is. The other thing you might notice is that the RAW actually captures a little bit more data to the sides. If you look at this house right here, you'll see that there's more of that house available in the RAW file. That's because we don't need to chop off as much data as the camera does when it's developing the JPEG. The other thing is the sky. You'll notice that the sky captured a lot more detail in the RAW because of the dynamic range available. So for this RAW file, you can also tweak this to your taste because there is a RAW developing tool in Qimage Ultimate. If you hold your mouse over this Refine RAW button and click, it'll bring up the RAW developing tool. And you can do things like, I might want to click and drag and select, a big area of sky and ground and say recover the highlights from that area. And if you look at the sky here, you'll see it darken just a little bit when it updates and give you even more detail in there. That's the maximum amount of detail possible. You might want to come down here and use the fill light, and depending on your taste, you can slide that, make the photo a little bit brighter if you like. This is all editing the RAW photo, so you're getting the most out of this photo. And sometimes I like to click on the white balance tool and pick an area that I think is probably gray. This sand down here is probably pretty close to gray, as would be the blacktop here. Click on that and the image will update, and you can see when you click on different areas for white balance, you can see what that does to the photo. And when you're done, you can just click this done button here, save and close, and the photo back here will update with your changes. It takes a couple minutes. I'll show you. It takes a couple minutes to reprocess that RAW, but it caches them, so once this developing icon here is gone and the RAW is developed, you don't have to wait for it to develop anymore. It's already cached. So while it's developing that photo, it does all this in the background. It's a multi-threaded application, so you can do other things while it's developing that. Let me show you this photo here, and I'll double click on that one to bring it up in the photo editor portion of the software. Now, first thing we notice is there's a horizon problem here, and that little click that you just heard means that it was done developing that RAW cache in the background there. I'll go over here to the Straighten Horizon tool and just click on one spot on the horizon, come over here and click on another spot, and it automatically rotates and crops that so that you don't have any corners. It crops it optimally, so that's the largest possible image that you can have without any corner pieces showing. So that has straightened the horizon there. The other thing, I mean, you can do a lot of things with this software. We have deep focus sharpening, which is a form of USM that doesn't have any halos. So, I mean, you can go high on this. You go on a 4 radius and 100 strength, and you can see the difference that that makes in the photo. It'll sharpen without any halos, and if you want to see the difference that you just made, you can click on this icon here and hold the button down, and it'll flash back and forth off and on. You can see the change that you made to the photo. So there's a lot of options here that you can use to refine your photos, and here's that thumbnail now updated with the new white balance and the new raw developing changes that I made. I can just click on the space bar here, bring that up full screen, and you can see the photo full screen here. Looks like a really nice photo ready to print. And the best thing about it is that you can print that photo. In fact, I already have that one here. If I want to change the size to an 8x10, I can do that. And now I'm ready to print. Turn the page landscape, you can see what it looks like on the paper. And those are some of the features that you can use, and again, this is using our own ICC profile that we developed, so you'll get accurate color, and you'll get, as you can see, bring it up one more time with the space bar over here, full screen. You can see it's automatically doing the lens distortion. That's not a separate step that you have to apply. It's got a perfectly straight horizon here, non-distorted image, and when you print, you can be sure that you're getting the highest quality because all the interpolation and sharpening will be done for you. And of course, that's customizable as well. So I just wanted to give you some quick tips on Qimage Ultimate and what it can do for you, for your phantom shots. And this software will read just about any raw file from any camera, so it will work on the Inspire 1 and other models as well, but keep in mind that we only have the lens distortion built in for the Phantom 3 Advanced and Pro models. So hope you enjoyed watching the video. Be sure to download the demo that we have online, and I don't think I mentioned it in the video, but it'll be in the post on the forum. You can just go to ddisoftware.com and just click on Qimage, and there's downloads available there. You can download the trial and try it out and see how it works for you. So thanks for watching, and hope to see you guys on the forum. Now, one thing that I will show you before I go here is if I double click in this area, or I'll just click down here on edit page, there is a full page editor here with rulers, and you can do things like right click and add floating text, and I'll add some floating text right here, and you can add things like shutter speed, any kind of user data that you want to add to the print. I'll just put in this one, I'll put the shutter speed on here, and let me get rid of that. That was just a test that I had in there, and I think I'll put the date and time on here. I'll put a space in between those. Click OK, and then you've got the shutter speed and the date and the time. Click done, and now that will show on your photo. So there's all sorts of things you can do with the software, and I'm probably trying to show too much in this video, but just download the demo and try it out. See if it's something that could be useful for you. Thanks again for watching.